Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose, and it's that time of the month once again where we talk about some more Xbox Game Pass titles. If the newly released Exoprimal isn't already enough, well, they just dropped a new wave of games that you can play this July, including, as you might have guessed, several Day 1 releases. The beauty of Game Pass continues on, and you subscribers out there remain absolutely spoiled. Now, we also do have a potential leak that alludes to the next Pokemon game after the Scarlet and Violet DLC, and a ton of fans are getting super excited about this. I mean, if it turns out to be as speculated, I'll definitely join in on that excitement as well. It's sounding really, really good. Let's just go and jump right into things, though, starting off with a cool spiritual successor, Ratatan. This here is actually a spiritual successor to the popular PlayStation Rhythm series, Patapon. It's coming from the same creator. It's got a similar name to it. It has a similar vibe, similar art style, in just everything. This is, by the definition, a spiritual successor in every sense of the meaning. Currently, though, not much else is known about this game. For right now, we really only have this small teaser here to its upcoming Kickstarter, which will go live on July 31st. But I'd say even with the very little information that we have, I mean, if you're a fan of Patapon, that was a unique series and one of the more memorable rhythm games out there, so you might want to keep an eye on that upcoming Kickstarter for Ratatan, whether you, of course, like Patapon or if you just like rhythm games. Hopefully, it will live up to the name. Now, we're also going to go ahead and talk about physical games once again. It does feel like that there's been this shift this generation to a more digital-only future with the rise of subscriptions and digital-only consoles. So gamers, they're rapidly gravitating more towards a digital library of games now, and because of that, the UK supermarket chain Tesco reportedly will no longer stock physical games in its 2,800 stores once the current stock sells out. You can actually see here, posted up by GameIndustry.biz, they say the supermarket chain says it's due to the move from its customers towards digital entertainment. It follows the news that GameStop Ireland has closed all of its 35 stores. It operated 8 stores in Dublin, 6 in Cork, and 3 in Limerick. And that is a big part of this story. It's not that we're just seeing Tesco move on from physical games, but I mean, if you look around, this has affected other outlets as well, especially being GameStop. I mean, even over here in the United States, in some stores, we're seeing less physical games than what we used to. It's a little bare bones in certain stores, but it seems like every single year we hear about droves of GameStops closing down because they're just not getting the business to keep their doors open. I mean, even if you look at the games itself, it was just announced this year that Alan Wake 2 will be a digital-only title, and that was a big surprise at the time because we're talking about a big AAA release. Typically, AAA games have a physical edition, but according to Remedy and Epic Games, I mean, all you have to do here is look at their official statement regarding the matter. They said, why is Alan Wake 2 a digital-only release? There are many reasons for this. For one, a large number of customers have shifted to digital-only. You can buy a Sony PlayStation 5 without a disc drive, and Microsoft's Xbox Series S is a digital-only console. It is not uncommon to release modern games as digital-only. Secondly, not releasing a disc helps keep the price of the game at $60 and the PC version at $50. Finally, we do not want to ship a disc product and have it require a download for the game. We do not think that this would make for a great experience either. And that statement right there sadly tells you the state of physical media. As a physical collector myself, that's pretty much all I buy. It pains me to say, but I think a lot of us have known for a while that the way modern physical media is released today, it's not perfect. Most modern games launch incomplete with large day one updates, and even with Final Fantasy XVI, which was promised to be complete on day one, proved not to be the case. And of course, platform holders, they'd prefer customers just go ahead and pay full price on their digital stores. That's what they would like because that's more money in their pocket. They don't have to share all that revenue with retailers. They don't have to pay for the boxes and this, that, and the other. So yeah, I mean, the writing has been on the wall for a while now. We are heading down a more digital-esque future, but to see a major retail chain like this go away from physical media this early on, it is a little bit surprising, and it might be worth keeping an eye on to see if any other chains follow suit as well. I mean, I surely hope not, but I guess we'll see how this generation shapes up and evolves as we continue on. Will that shift to digital continue to grow, and will more AAA games go digital only? I mean, for that matter, it'll be very curious to see how Alan Wake 2 does later this year, because I'm sure a lot of publishers are kind of eyeing that as well. Let's go talk about Xbox Game Pass, though. It's that monthly gift to all subscribers. You wake up and, hey, here's some new games. It's like a holiday every single month, and, well, the month of July is no different. They announced 7 new games coming to the service throughout the rest of July, which includes 2 games that just released today, being The Cave and Tectonica. If you look at the other 7, though, this includes Celeste, Figment 2, The Wandering Village, Toem, Serious Sam, Siberian Mayhem, Maquette, and last but not least, you have Vinba. So this lineup is a little bit more indie-focused. You're not going to get one of those big AAA games that I know so many of you all like, but at the same time, that's not to say that there's not interesting games here. In fact, there's actually a few known high-quality games, which I'll come back to here in just a moment, and then there's also 3 new Day 1 releases. The first of which is Tectonica, which is actually available today, right now, as we speak. This is supposed to be a first-person building game that takes players beneath an alien planet where they master automation, gather resources, research new technologies, mold the destructible terrain, establish a base of operations, and uncover long-forgotten secrets. And here's the cool thing about this game. You can either play this one by yourself or cooperatively as a team. So if you have some friends that are subscribed to Game Pass, Tectonica might be worth a try. I do think that this one looks rather interesting. Now, another Day 1 release here is The Wandering Village, and I really like the concept of this specific title. It's a building simulation game where you manage a civilization on the back of a giant wandering creature. The world below is toxic and unlivable, so they have to create this relationship with this giant creature and live up on it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Xenoblade's setting, if you've played those games, but with a vastly different play style. But check this out here. This game has been in early access on Steam since 2022 and has been highly praised by fans. It has an 89% approval rating with 3,300 plus reviews. So that's always a good sign, and hey, if you like these type of games, you're going to want to give this one a try when it releases into Game Pass on July 20th. Now, the last Day 1 release here is Vinba, which is a cooking narrative-driven game. Now, I'm not quite as sold on this one per se. The art style is unique, and you do play as a mom who immigrates to Canada. The story itself might change my mind. I could see how this could be a gripping story, but the gameplay itself just doesn't really seem all that for me. But I'd love to be proved wrong when it releases on July 31st. Maybe it's something up your alley. With that said, though, the one that I really have to recommend, because I know for a fact this one is great, is Celeste. Now, this game has been around for a while, but I am telling you right now, if you haven't played this game already, you absolutely need to. Celeste, in my opinion, is legitimately one of the best platformers of all time, hands down. I am not exaggerating on that. This is a fantastic game. It's got a surprisingly good story for a platformer. It's challenging, and it's also creative. The mechanics itself are rather simple. You climb, you jump, and you dash. But again, I'm telling you, it's one of the most perfect platformers out there. So definitely check out Celeste when it releases in the Game Pass on August 1st. Even Toem, I haven't played this one, but I have heard a lot of good things about it. It's another one of those artistic games, but, you know, that's kind of the thing about this lineup. It might be a little bit lighter of a lineup. It's not going to have one of those big AAA releases, but there's still some rather interesting titles here to tide you over until we start to get into those big behemoths, because it won't be too long before we get those big releases. September, I mean, that month is looking pretty massive for Game Pass with both Starfield and Lies of P. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, those Activision Blizzard games come here soon as well. Now, lastly here, I want to talk about Pokemon, because a potential tease has the Pokemon community in a bit of a frenzy. So this is coming from Riddler-Ku, and if you don't know who that is, Riddler is a prominent Pokemon leaker with a solid track record. Riddler has been linked to various Pokemon leaks, including with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Scarlet and Violet, and even the recent announced Detective Pikachu 2. He apparently did leak that game's release date and everything before it was officially announced. So Riddler Coup seemingly has some legitimate sources, probably one of the only accurate Pokemon leakers out there right now, and that right there is why fans are now freaking out about Riddler posting a series of tweets allegedly teasing the next Pokemon game after the Scarlet and Violet DLC. The one tweet that really seems to have caught a lot of attention here, though, is the one where Riddler posted, "What's on your wish list? Place your bets." And as you can see, Pokemon Legends Kyurem won by a pretty large margin, and right below that, Riddler responded by saying Legends is quite popular in the community right now. So you can see how this could sound like a tease. This has really kicked off this mass speculation that a new Pokemon Legends game could be inbound, this time set in the Unova region, or the Black and White generation if you're unaware. Now, in a way, this would make some sense. Pokemon Legends Arceus was a huge success, so another game in that style would be met with a lot of excitement. Legends Arceus is a fresh new take on a series, and I know for myself, which I am a big Pokemon fan, I would love to see them further explore this idea. I liked that it was more challenging than your typical Pokemon game. It was just so refreshing, and really my only real critique for Legends was that I'd like to see more trainer battles. To me, that was really when Legends Arceus was at its best. They just didn't really give us enough of that. But, I mean, it was still a great game nonetheless, and I'd personally love to see a follow-up. Now, I have seen some theories, though, that with Legends Arceus being based on the past, they could have this new Legends game based on the future. This would tie in nicely with Scarlet and Violet's theme about past and future, but it is important to kind of keep in mind here that this is all just speculation for the time being. It's hard to tell exactly what Riddler Coup is teasing, other than one very straightforward clue, being that whatever this game is, it'll be based on the Unova region, and based on what's being said, this is not just a simple remake. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly the Pokemon Company is cooking up. But let me know what you all think about all this. If you like the Pokemon series, what would you like to see them do next? Would you like to see another Legends title, or would you like to see them do something completely different again? It does seem like right now the Pokemon Company seems to be experimenting a little bit more, which is, it's been kind of interesting thus far with the Let's Go game. You have the Legends game, and even Detective Pikachu. So let's kind of see what they're cooking up next. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, where I asked you all, do you think Xbox and PlayStation will make their next generation consoles with a disk drive? And I was actually a little bit surprised here, but the majority of you all are leaning on the side of no. 52% of you said no, while 42% of you said yes. So this is another telltale sign on where the physical market is right now. Customers are starting to believe in this digital-only future, and it's easy to understand why. Pretty much for all the reasons that we talked about earlier in this video, but, with that said, I am with the minority here. While I think there is a chance that we will see digital-only console next generation, I can't rule that out, but I think what PlayStation is doing right now could be a sign of what's to come next. Now, this isn't confirmed just yet, but based on credible rumors, Sony is planning to release a PlayStation 5 digital console with a detachable disc drive that you can buy separately. And if that has success, I think that could be the plan for next generation as well. I guess the way I kind of look at this is that even though digital movies are the primary way to watch movies right now, it hasn't completely stopped physical. There is still a group of people out there that wants that physical media, and I think we're seeing something similar with games as well. In that case, maybe less physical games will be made, but going digital only, I think that would cause a pretty major uproar, which platform holders likely want to avoid. So I think right now, I just kind of believe that they'll continue to offer options. If you want digital only, they'll have a console for that. It'll probably be the primary console for that matter, but if you like physical, I think they will have some kind of option, but admittedly, I can't ignore the future for physical media is shakier than ever before, and it's hard to say what's going to happen in the future. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode. But if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.